Yo, what is good? Just want to make a quick video on how I journal my trades. Also, sorry if there's a lot of background noise. I have a microphone, but I'm in Sri Lanka, my motherland, and there's a lot of birds. So first, I just want to go over why journaling is important. So number one, journaling is really important because it gives you a way to look back at what repetitive mistakes you've been making, and it gives you a way to learn from your mistakes. Rather than just like moving forward without looking back, you will not be able to understand what you're doing wrong. Secondly, journaling helps strengthen your discipline and accountability. By looking back, you own up to your mistakes and you understand that it is completely your responsibility and not anyone else's fault for the mistakes that you made. Thirdly, it makes trading a bit less emotional and more process oriented. By writing down your emotions during, before, and after the trade, it helps you realize what emotional decisions you're making. You know, as they say, a trader's journal is the best book a trader can ever read. So journaling is one of the most important things you could do to becoming a profitable trader. I'm not saying that I'm profitable yet, but I feel like journaling has gotten me the most progress, and I've been able to learn about myself the most through my journals. So I just want to make a quick video on how I journal and how I ensure that I will succeed in trading through my journaling. So now looking down onto the charts, my first trade journal is my advanced trade check-in. So with this just helps me look at myself in the third person before going into the market. Just being able to monitor myself, monitor my emotions, see what I'm thinking before going into the charts. So what I have is I have the date, of course. Then I have the pair, because I trade 3 pairs right now, and then I have a link for each one. So for example, one of my last trades, this is what I first saw coming into the market. Yo, it's so windy right now. But this is what I first saw. So then after charting and everything, I put a screenshot of it, my future predictions. Then I put what do I like about it? So what do I want to see? What do I ideally want to happen in order for me to find a trade? Then I put my emotions prior, so what I'm feeling like. So today, for that day specifically, I was feeling like because I was increasing my risk because I made progress on my funded account, I increased my risk size to just have better leverage over the future. So that caused me to have some feelings of wanting to take a trade, wanting to be able to win kind of thing. And by being able to journal and see what I'm thinking from the third person, I was able to realize like, yo, I got to get these emotions under control and realize what I'm actually doing, just to focus on the process rather than the outcome. So then after that, if I do enter a trade, I have the emotions during the trade. So what I entered off of and then how I'm feeling. So for this trade particularly, I was feeling a bit FOMO because I didn't want the trade to run away with me because I really wanted to take a trade. So I realized that, and then now in the future I'm able to look back and realize what I did wrong and how I can learn from that. After the trade, I have an emotions after. So after I complete the position, I have a journal for what I feel like, what thoughts are going through my head. Do I feel greed? Do I feel anger? Do I feel like sadness over what I could have potentially made, kind of thing like that. And then I also have a quick what to learn. So this is just a quick summary of what I can learn for the next session. So for this one, RR was kind of cooked by the entry. I just gotta be patient and wait for the confidence because I FOMO'd into this trade. So now in the future, I can just look back and see what I messed up on. And then I also have a management plan. So for management plan, what it means is just like, when I enter the trade, I have a predefined plan in my head on how I'm going to manage this. Otherwise, if I don't have a predefined management plan, I'm just going to take a million take profits and just keep on dividing my position smaller and smaller until it's like pointless, right? So that is what management plan is. And then I also have an exit logic, which is like, was a TP hit, was stop loss hit, or was it too long, or was there news? And then I have a risk percentage and why. So this one was 1.5% because I'm up 3% on the funded account. And then for plan follow, I just have yes or no. So for this one, I didn't really follow my plan because I FOMO'd into the trade, but this was one of my biggest trades. So I'm creating a negative feedback loop just by rewarding myself for not following my plan. And then I also have a post-trade screenshot just to see how the trade ended up doing. Hit all take profits, so that was good. So that's my first trade journal. So my second journal is my trade journal. So this is only for the trades that I take. So I'll just start with like the one that I was just talking about previously. So I have the date, the end time, and the beginning time. So when I entered to where I exited at the first TP, then I have confluence if I entered on that, so I could see what confluence I entered and how those confluences affected the result of the trade. Then I also have the session, which is always NY. Then I have the risk reward of TP1. So this is where I broke my plan on that previous trade because I always aim for a 1.25 or greater risk reward. However, this one did not end up being a proper risk reward. I have a trade report. So this just, I don't know why it's called trade report, but this is like a screenshot of the trade. So similar to the advanced trade check-in post-trade screenshot. I also have if there's any red folder news. There was no news that day. I have the duration of the full trade, so all the way from entry to the last take profit. That's the trade duration for that one. And then I have a setup. So I just quickly describe what I saw in the setup, how I'm feeling about the setup, if it was a good setup, kind of thing like that. Not it. I would recommend it to be descriptive because when you're looking back, you could really understand what the thought process was. Then I also have a pair because that's like just brain percentage plus or minus. So this was a 3% positive trade, my biggest trade yet. Then I have the lot size. So then, yeah, it's just the lot size. I could see if I was heavier, if I could see I could win higher or something like that. Then I have a position buy or sell, which is pretty common sense. I have the number of entries. So if my entry was the first entry or the second entry of the day. And then I also have the emotions. I recommend you be like descriptive about this. This one isn't that descriptive, but sometimes I have more longer ones, kind of like here and here. Oh yeah, these are pretty short, but by having a more lengthy description of your emotions, you could really get into the moment, what you are feeling, how you're feeling, and what improvements need to be made to your mental. And then I also have a stop loss. So what my goal with these stop losses is to be able to, in the future, see what my average stop loss size is, and then be able to have predefined lot sizes rather than having to use the calculator every single time. Bro, that bird is actually gonna, I'm actually gonna tweak if that bird keeps on making sounds, bro. Dude, this is freaking rooster that's always making sounds 24/7. It's actually annoying. Then I have the exit logic similar to that. So if it's TP, stop loss, kind of thing like that. And then I have a risk percentage similar to the previous one. So that was a 1.5% trade. And then I also have a plan followed. So didn't really follow my plan that one, similar to the previous thing I was saying. And then I have a final RR. So this was actually my best risk reward trade as well. So yeah, I could just see what potential my trades have and how far they can go. And then lastly, I have a how to improve, pretty similar to the previous one. It's pretty repetitive, but it really helps me get into my mind. So this one's just how to improve, pretty simple, but this is just to be able to look back in the future. So that's my second trade journal. I don't know if this is OD, but this is what's really been helping me. So my last trade journal is my weekly journal. So every week, Saturday or Sunday, usually Saturday, I'll journal over the past week. So I'll just go over the past week as well. So this week, June 30th to July 4th, this is the trade journal. I only traded 2 days of the week. I don't know if that really matters. So I have the number of trades, of course. How many trades did I take? I took 2 trades. I took 1 loss and 1 win. Number of buy positions, number of sell positions doesn't really matter. And then I have the total lots. So with my total lots, I'm able to see what correlation, like how heavy I'm going into the trades, and then what my percentage outcome is. And I could also see like which weeks I was heaviest and which weeks were my biggest losing, kind of thing like that. So this week was honestly not the heaviest. It was like second heaviest or something, but it was my biggest week as well. So that kind of makes sense. And then I have a dollar plus or minus. Not that that really matters, but it's nice to see like what my dollar amounts looking like. And then I have an initial equity, which is from the previous week. And then I have a final equity, which is just similar to the dollar plus or minus. I don't know. I just like having it. Just makes me feel organized. And then my most important part is just the improvements of that week, so I can improve coming into the next week, and like what mistakes I made in the previous week, just to make sure that I don't repeat those mistakes again. So honestly, it's not like that specific, but it's like, because I have a more specific journal which I'll get to soon, but this is just a simple improvement, something that I could focus on pretty simply. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the improvements. And then for the most traded pairs, I just like to have that so I can see which pairs I was traded most. So last week it was just the USD pairs, but yeah. So that is my third journal, like my third proper journal. And now my last journal, like my last journal, is my ask for help journal. Let me open that real quick. So this is my last journal. This is my ask for help. This is not something I do every week. This is similar to a weekly recap, but it's not every week I do it. I only do it if I have like a big issue. I read this in Tom Hugard's Best Loser Wins, and this has actually been helping me a lot as well. So what I usually do is I have the date, like the week that I have the issue with. Then I have like the main issue. So last week my issue was seeing a potential setup and then having some expectation to see an execution. That was a tongue twister. But what I usually do is I have a quick description of the issue, and then I have what triggers that issue. So with this one, I've gotten better at not having too much expectations when I'm opening on the charts, but I struggled with expecting to see an execution point when I saw a potential setup. And that was something that I really need to work on, because otherwise I would start feeling bummy after not taking a setup, and the next day I would force something bad. So that is something that I really need to work on. So I usually have a quick description, like I said, then I have what triggers that, and then I also have a quick solution to how I could solve this in the future. So I have like a 1-sentence thing that I will remember going into the next week on what I need to improve on, what I need to focus on, what psychological aspects I need to focus on, something like that. And then I just make sure that I incorporate it into my belief system through like just repeating it before going into Monday, or just thinking about it all the time, you know what I'm saying? So I don't do this too much. This is just if I have a big issue, but not really having that many issues right now because I'm seeing some wins. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for my trade journals. Just want to make a quick video. Maybe someone could use this information, but I just wanted to explain how I do it to ensure that I will succeed in trading. I've seen so much progress from looking through my journals. Like they all say, a trader's journal is the best book they can read. So I just want to make a quick video on how I do it to make sure that I find success in trading and will end up becoming a profitable trader in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.